Um, I'm really bad at describing it.
You?
I guess
No.
it's like a. I'd like to think it's very different than this one, but I don't know if that's true or not. But I guess it's like a character study of a young woman who's kind of regressing in life. I don't know. That's the best way to put it. And then maybe it's a musical, maybe it isn't.
Okay.
That's it. I don't know how to describe it better than that, which probably isn't a good sign, but I don't know. Hopefully it's fun,
Yeah.
but not too different, but kind of different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that person who was trying to join is going to come back and join us. So
Yeah.
let me swap over to this.
Okay.
Hello, Eric. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
this is what we call Friday Night Flicks, which last Friday of every month we do a screening here at the Falls Taphouse and also online of a short film from the 2020 Klamath Independent Film Festival, and sit down with the director to chat about it. So appreciate you being here. We've done a couple of documentaries so far. Tonight we get to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
um,
Probably different.
so we'll do a Q&A afterwards. But to start off, I think the dog has a question. Probably
Oh,
off to the side there. Um, 32 Goldfish. Very much so a David Lynch-esque film as far as you watch it and you're not sure what you just watched, right?
yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
Open to a lot of interpretations.
Yeah, definitely.
The way to describe it, but how would you describe this film?
I guess like a genre film that kind of dissolves into a tone poem. That's probably not the best way to put it, but I'll go for that.
So, where did the concept of it come from? Like, how did you come up with the script?
Um, I was just going through a lot of grief for just a lot of uh, I had a period where like a couple people I knew died, and then a couple friendships that were really close ended. And I was just kind of fatigued, and I wanted to make some like a little meditation on futility and grief, and this came out, and something like that.
Okay, so it's the story of a killer for hire, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
whose payout is probably going to confuse people. So, do you want to explain maybe
yeah.
the goldfish concept, or do you want to explain it afterwards?
Let's go after. Let's go after.
Okay, so killer for hire goes through basically losing his mind in the course of his job, right?
Yeah, we'll say that.
In,
Definitely eroding.
in anything else that you want to explain about the film before we get started on it?
Nah, just enjoy yourselves. Then I guess afterwards.
Is this some? Would you consider this a film that you could just kind of just watch without any introduction whatsoever, or if you had to think of something, is there some sort of thought or feeling we should think about when going into this?
I mean, I don't. Maybe this sounds weird, but I really like the idea of film as being like a space that the audience can find something in, as opposed to a means of moral instruction. I don't really like films that try to teach you a platitude or instruct you morally in something. Like I really like films by like I don't know, Michael Haneke and Claire Denis and filmmakers who try to do something that can be read a lot of ways and really involve the audience more and allow them to think for themselves and to approach things in their own time in their own way. So I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, I mean it's less about something literally happening and more about an experience.
It's about the
And
introspection and how the audience can connect to it in each of their personal lives.
yeah, I think so. That's more or less the intent. Yeah,
I like it.
This
thank you.
was, and I say this in the most loving way possible, Eric. this was definitely the weirdest film that we had in the 2020 Klamath Independent Film Festival.
I'll take that as a badge of honor. I live for it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, let's.
It's gone up.
What does that mean, gone up?
The main route is gone. I need to charge you more now.
How is that possible?
They wiped it out. It's gone.
Fuck.
We can slip you through a back channel.
How many is that?
32.
32?
Then we can get you your ticket and we can get you home. If you still know where that was. It says here you've been gone a long time. I'd be surprised if you could remember your own name. You probably don't even know your own name, huh?
Price is 32?
Yes.
Okay.
You're back.
Yes.
You want a new assignment?
Yeah, I need the work.
You told me you were done.
Yeah, well, now I'm here. So you got anything?
Yes.
What am I supposed to do with these?
Bring me the teeth.
You've never had me do anything like this before.
If you say so.
And how much am I gonna get?
I can choose who feeds from my hands. Do you not seek to return home? You will receive less than desired. And more than deserved.
Thank you. I think we met in high school. No, it was before that. You look amazing, by the way. So happy. Do you even know that I'm gone? I wish I could describe this place to you. It's like I'm on the edge of a dream. I'm coming back. I love you too. Evening. Did you see someone pass by? It's all right. It's just me and you.
Your payment.
The concept of Goldfish as payment, though, is what I find really fascinating about your film.
Yeah, I mean, so like the whole thing with Goldfish is like that's a just like some variety of carp that started to be like cultivated in East Asia as like a sign of opulence and wealth, but now it's like you can buy some for 50 cents and they live a matter of weeks, and they have a quote unquote, maybe it's not literally true, but a memory of 5 seconds. So I kind of I don't know. You could say I don't know where he is, and you could infer a lot about that, but more or less the thought is whether it's purgatory or hell or a coma dream or a fever dream or something. Um, he's trying to get back to his way of life, and he's getting paid to harvest people who are similar to him, possibly, in order to pay off somebody who's exploiting him to sort of get back to his life. And whether or not he's going to get closer to that or not is who knows. But the I think the I feel it's a pretty futile effort on his part, and that's kind of the point.
Well, and
Does that work for that?
the the victims that he takes, you put them all in this like latex paint. Is that
Yeah.
a symbolism as if to him they're already ghosts or what?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of that's the way to do it. I don't know. I really like the game Dark Souls, and I really like the concept of these people go to this hell or this afterlife or something where their souls decay, and the idea more or less is this man's trying to buy his way out before that happens to him, and he's being paid by oh, I got a pop up. Is my audio gone or
No, no, we can still hear you.
okay, perfect. I guess the idea is he's trying to buy his way out of that, but he's trying to get escape his fate and not end up like them, but he has to take advantage of them in order to do so. And I don't know, he doesn't seem to get very far in doing that, I suppose. But yeah, I think they're just people who are forgetting themselves and forgetting their existence as they you know, decay into oblivion.
The actors that you had getting shot, um, it's really hard to play dead. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you've ever had to do that, Bowen, but it is really hard to be still. And my favorite shot in your whole film is you have a close up of one of the victims just on their face for at least 10 to 15 seconds, no
Yeah.
breath and no movement. Until you have to do that, no one realizes how difficult that is to not blink and not move and look dead when the camera is that close on you. There's
Yep.
how many takes did that take in order to get that shot right?
Two. I don't know. I had a I that's that scout, and they're a good friend of mine. They're a crazy. They were just crazy dedicated. They took what they really did is they took 7 falls on the knee for getting shot, and then I never used any of that. So that's their real sacrifice. Um, but yeah, it's no, they were just like super dedicated. They like didn't they trusted me, and that was like super cool. Just that anybody would give that the time of day and that dedication. Um,
Where did you film it?
so that's all shot around PSU campus in downtown Portland. I just been looking at these places for years and thinking I'd want to shoot there, and I don't know. I looked at 20 different parking garages, and that one happens to be on campus, but it just has these pools of light, and all the lighting is like fluorescent tubes that you can that aren't like because a lot of parking garages have light fixtures that are like you can't mess with them. You have to take them apart, and with that one it's just bare fluorescent bulbs. So we stole a ladder from a taco truck um at about 1 in the morning, and I just had me and a couple friends go to each fixture and just take the light out. um and we broke about half of them and nobody ever found out. So probably not a morally justifiable cause perhaps, but we did it. It's been done.
So
I'll pay for my sins one day.
so you were just filming like in the middle of the night then too, right?
Yeah, we sorry, what?
So your entire crew was just like, we'll start filming at like 2 a.m. and finish by like 5 or.
Yeah, well, yeah, we started around maybe 8 or 9. We filmed in like from fall to November or September to November. So it was getting dark pretty early, and we just I'd say we went to 2 or 3 every now and then. We shot over the course of like um 10 days. That's like 10 days worth of shooting, which I think most people would have done it in 3, but I have maybe I don't know, that film has a shooting ratio of like 10 to 1. It's something insane. So many takes, so much stuff that is just like not there. I was kind of crazy. Nobody seemed to complain, and I'm just really surprised and grateful for that.
Well, and that's special because if I remember when we did our Q&A last year, the two things that stand out to me was that you were attacked by a raccoon,
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
and one of your actors in that paint was allergic to it, right?
Oh no, yeah. So the one who had to give the really long close up, sh she's gender fluid, so she uses like all pronouns. But basically, Scout had a latex allergy, so they had to like the makeup artist had to use something else that wasn't latex. So while everyone else could just tear off their makeup in like a minute, Scout had all these little flecks that I had to help them pick apart. It took hours to get that off. The one guy at the very end, Agatora, he he was cast an hour before we filmed, so his day went like, I'm not doing anything. Okay, I'm gonna be in a film. Okay, I'm gonna sit up in a makeup chair. I'm gonna sit in a makeup chair for 90 minutes doing nothing with a bunch of people I don't know. Oh, I guess I'm gonna do this and play dead. And I think he did amazing considering he had no idea he was gonna do that when he woke up. So yeah. No, the worst. So the worst thing was when we shot that phone booth. There was some guy who came up in a with a Safeway cart, and it had a bunch of like doll heads in it. And he was like, "Do you have permits for filming?" And we said yes. And he said, "No, you don't. I own that phone box. This is my house." And we said, "Oh." And he's like, "It's okay. I'm an anarchist. Here's my email address." And then he just walked into the house. That was that was a fun moment. Um,
I've never heard a sentence that sounds more Portlandian.
it really was like peak Portland. Um, yeah, that was fun. I totally lost the email address. He'll never know what we did with that phone booth. But that phone booth like operates free of charge for the homeless. It's like a non-profit thing, and so when you call it or when you pick it up, you hear a bunch of different voice messages from various like houseless people across Portland. And there's some weird ones. We had to call the phone, not because we had to have somebody on the other end, just so the actor wouldn't hear those voice messages, because they just threw him out the scene because there were some weird ones. But
I'm kind of surprised you were even able to find a phone booth in 2019 or 2020, whenever you filmed this.
2018. But I found like four different ones that were perfect, and you know, 2 weeks after I find them, they're gone. We went through like four or five different phone booths that were just like removed within the span of like 3 months in like totally different parts of the city. It was infuriating. I was just ripping my hair out left and right. It was yeah. This film was like really hard to make. It's kind of weird to think it's just done now. Like people see it because that was I guess it wasn't officially a thesis, but more or less I treated it like a thesis. Um, yeah, but that, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The raccoon incident as well.
Yeah, totally. So there was, we had a bunch of gear out, and there was like I don't remember exactly, but it was something like a family raccoon. It just went through all our gear, and we spent a good 5 minutes just filming them, and then we were like, hey, they're eating our food and stuff. We should probably do something about that. And then we did, but we had a lot of raccoon footage that we just couldn't make work in the edit.
That's weird
Yeah.
when you have a fox head that is one of the antagonists. So why didn't you just like splice in like a raccoon head?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, the whole thing's kind of weird, but I think it'd be a stretch to go from like the fox head to a few, found footage shots of a raccoon eating a pack of Oreos or something. I don't think that would have that would have been too far a leap.
No, I'm sure David Lynch could make it work, man.
I
So
guess so. Yeah.
then so can you. So was the fox head you because of your last name?
No, no. Oh God, no. No, definitely not. No, I just like foxes are like, you know, tricksters in mythology from, Western Europe to East Asia to, and in places where you don't have foxes, it's coyotes or it's jackals. Like small dog-like creatures are kind of like a universal global symbol of like manipulation, I guess. And I don't know if I don't think I didn't like choose that thinking everyone's gonna get that. It's just more or less like I think there's a subliminal feeling that you get from seeing that. And also like I don't know, like the table has like pomegranates on it, and that's like, Hades, underworld. There's a bunch of like pomegranates have all these different connotations and also ginkgo leaves and I don't know. You only see those for like 15 seconds, but I spent like 2 or 3 months collecting ginkgo leaves and yeah. I also made a whole family of fonts. Like I made 6 different fonts just for this, and I only use about 3 different widths. And I made 6 different widths of fonts, and I spent like 4 months on that. Um, a lot of wasted effort in this film, but
The
yeah,
one interesting
sorry.
thing about your film, I would say, is all the times I've watched it, it's really about the 6th or 7th time I've seen it, there's always something that I see that I did not notice beforehand. So if nothing else, I always pick up something new every single time that I see this film.
I appreciate that. I do think it's a film that like is for repeat viewings, and the more I don't know, every now and then I'm like I don't want to watch this, and then I do, and then I feel like there's always a different thing. It's not really nothing's fixed or concrete. So I appreciate that tremendously. Yeah.
Is there something that you two want to ask?
You got one? Okay. Um, I kind of garnered a couple questions over the course of just hearing your thoughts and your opinions and everything that went into this film. Now that it's a couple years down the line, is there anything that you look at when watching this film, or something that you want that you now wish you could have added, or maybe could have removed or changed somehow? Is there anything that you see when you look at this film, like, oh, maybe I could have added this and it would have been really good?
I for whatever reason the sound like the your mic, I don't know if it's your mic, but there's a weird crackle. But I think what I heard was if now it's been a few years, is there anything I wish I could change or add?
Yeah.
Or I don't think I'd add anything so much as like I don't know, I'd maybe change some of the lighting in some places. Uh, because I'm also the DP on it and the editor, and I had a hand in. I mean, I basically did all the sound mixing. Um, I guess there's a lot of things I tweaked there. I kind of wish I could take out the music in the car scene. I think it's a little too grandiose a moment. And while I do think it needs to be long and slow paced, I maybe would have cut out, a good 90 seconds. Um, I don't want it too short. It's definitely something to linger in and languish in. But yeah, little things here and there. Um, I don't. For the most part, though, I think it, and I'm really surprised by this, but I do feel like it really manages to be more or less exactly what I intended. And I do think a tone poem is the best way to put it. It's kind of disguised as like a genre piece, but I do think it kind of gives way into something that's a little more introspective, and that's exactly what I wanted. I think it really expresses my emotional state of mind when I made it. Um, and hopefully, people vibe with that. But yeah, I also I don't there isn't a question for this, but I also just really want to shout out the lead actor because I think he's one of the best actors I've ever seen or worked with personally, maybe the best. He's so nuanced and he has the right energy for everything, and I always believe he's the character. Like he's never melodramatic, and he always manages to land or ground the character in any moment he can. And that's I think he's considering that he's not paid and he was like a student actor, his performance is I should not have been able to afford a performance like that, and that's all him.
What I like about his performance is that the way that the story is written, being somewhat abstract in nature intentionally, it's a very
Yeah.
subtle role, and then it suddenly flips and becomes very extreme, and then it
Yeah.
goes back to being a very subtle role. And for an
Yeah.
actor, it's hard to delve into having that subtlety and soft nuance, and then all of a sudden something as violent as gunshots and to flip like that so quickly and be able to go back and forth is really impressive. I thought in this film.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have an agent because he doesn't want to get an agent, but he could really, I think he just has such a talent and he could really do so much more. He's actually going to be in my next movie, thank God. But yeah, that one's really different. I'm trying to do something that's a little less abstract up until the end and a little more rooted in character and hopefully the zeitgeist. Um, but we'll see how that works. And hopefully y'all, I'll be able to send it to y'all when it's done, which probably won't be this year's festival, but maybe the next. We'll see. But um, yeah,
Something else that you'd
I
like to
just
add?
I just think it was really impressive that you're able to get pretty much exactly what you wanted.
thank you. I mean, yeah, sorry.
I think that's something that's probably really hard for directors to do, to really nail that vision that they have. And it's cool that you're able to get that right so that we can see that what you put on the screen really is about as close as you can get to what you really wanted.
Thank you. I mean, I'm obsessive and deeply, deeply mentally unwell, and that really has everything to do with it. I wouldn't recommend. It doesn't pay off for your well-being. Probably took 5 years off my life to make that film. So it means the world to me that you're showing it and that you care enough to talk to me about it. So thank you. Really, thank you. Um, yeah.
One other thing I was curious on is what did you shoot it on? Did you shoot it on high quality cameras and then edit in like the film grain in post,
Yeah,
or
it,
did
it,
it?
it
Yeah.
has a lot of grain in
Because
it.
like
So,
I really liked, I noticed and really liked the graininess of the film, or at least the grainy parts. I don't know if all of it was grainy, but I definitely noticed that certain parts of it was grainy. How in like the cuts and the edits for different scenes, there was like the rustling, the movements almost like it was a found footage piece. And I really like that. I think it really contributed well to the aesthetic we were going for, of like almost how it's all kind of pointless and just.
I'm sorry, the sound quality is like totally cutting out on the last end of that.
Can you hear me better?
That is so much better. Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, I'm holding the microphone.
Perfect. Keep doing it.
What did you hear?
I heard, what did you shoot it on? Did you shoot it on a high quality camera? It's very grainy, which it is, and then that the rest was all lost to an electronic static.
Okay, I was just curious. I know I was kind of asking is did you film it on a higher quality camera and then put in the graininess in post, or
Yeah.
did you? Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Keep going. Or was
Okay,
that
well,
the?
that answers the first part. I just noticed it's something I noticed as part of the film, and I thought it contributed really well to the aesthetic of it that you were trying to go for. Where it contributed well to how melancholy and this vibe of like it's all pointless or it's all why bother.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Thank
really
you.
tough interpreting it. Um,
Thank you.
the second
Yeah.
thing out of that is what also contributes it is the cuts and the edits that you put into transitioning from different scenes. How it was like the shaky cam and like the glitching, almost like it was found footage. And I thought that again that plays really well into the aesthetic.
Thank you.
Surprisingly well. I didn't expect that to be a contribution to it, but it worked way better than I ever thought it could.
Thank you. I mean, like that. A lot of that. I don't know. I'm really obsessed with Chris Cunningham, who's mostly a music video director from the '90s, who's done this stuff for Aphex Twin and all that. And I really just love. Um, he edits everything he's ever done, and it always has like a visceral, rhythmic, playful feeling that I think is very sensory. If there's something about it that like it's not just like quick pace for the sake of it, but there's I don't know like an ephemeral or a very intuitive quality to it that I think contributes something to the emotionally to it.
Was that something
Um,
you tried to emulate?
yeah, I mean, I wanted, I mean, editing is one of my favorite things, and I try to edit like freelance edit every now and then. I mean, I love to edit for other people's films. I've edited 2 feature films, and I learned a tremendous amount from that. Um, but yeah, the rhythm of the film and the edit of the film is the most important thing to me, and I really wanted to go for something that could juxtapose between something fast or edgy and visceral and something that's languishing and moody and willing to let a shot play out. And those little abstract cuts gave it a flavor that I think really I appreciate your appreciation of it, because to me it really, I think it really contributed a lot in tone.
Well,
That
I think
wasn't,
it's really
yeah.
novel.
Thank you. I try. I try. Um, yeah, this I don't know, like this film was really an obsessive thing for me, and trying to push. I don't know. I was very self-conscious about being a student filmmaker, and I really wanted to push beyond what that would mean, and really, I don't know, like I just try to make something that's more fully realized, and um, I don't know. I really didn't think about how anyone else would think. I was just trying to think of what the piece needed, and how to fully articulate what I was feeling, and this is the outcome of that. So I really appreciate that. That was the aim.
What's interesting in adding all of the what's interesting in adding all of the green.
Can you put the mic a bit closer? Sorry.
What's interesting about
Perfect.
adding all of the glitches and graininess is that it adds to the concept, at least to me, that we don't know if what's on screen is reality or part of this person's descent into madness, and it's actually what they're imagining. Like maybe it's just some weird dream, or this is actually their reality. That glitchiness kind of adds to like, well, maybe this person is actually like in the Matrix
Yeah.
itself, and things are starting to mess up. So
Yeah. Um, I think it all just I think that's totally a valid take on it. I think it all just I mean, the film is about fatigue and decay, and I think the distortion and the way it all breaks down, like that's all part of the texture, and that all, like, that totally works with what it is. Um, did that make any grammatical sense?
well,
I just think
Cool.
Heidi is a teacher, so did that make grammatical sense?
That passed the test. We got it. Got
I
it.
just think
Cool. Thank you. Nice.
I just think, of course, I mean, you're the one that made the film. You understand it like the most out of anyone. I just think fatigued is, I think, a really good way to describe the vibe of the film. And like you said, where it contributes to decay, where it's like entropic.
Yeah.
Um, I like that, and
Totally.
I liked how the pacing, it was languishing, and how it was nice. It took its time, except for just that one moment where it was just a massive peak in this otherwise completely docile valley. And I think it kind of really, that that extreme shift up only to go back down after a little while, I think that really emphasized those feelings of entropy and fatigue even more.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have very many questions. I just like cool piece, and I liked watching it.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's more than I can ask for, you know? Thank you.
I think
Um,
it really says a lot for just being like a 10-minute short film.
well, now you're gonna make me cry. Shit. Thank
I
you.
because like you said, you have some insecurity as a student filmmaker, and I could kind of see that in this film where I think there was part of it, there was an intent that you wanted to do something new. You wanted to contribute something in a different way, and wanted to, I guess not really experiment, but try something different and
Yeah.
seeing how it would work. And it did work out very well, in my opinion.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, we live in an age of like content oversaturation, right? Like, and what I've noticed is that like we live in like a culture of nostalgia where we're all like contemporary movies don't want to show
The mainstream is
cont-
comfortable with holding on to nostalgia.
well, I think it's more just like, I mean, this is kind of political, but I think, you know, neoliberalism has kind of run its course, and we're kind of in a point where society is like the status quo doesn't work for us, and whether it's Trump or Bernie, like I think we all feel that on some level. And I think, you know, there's we don't really want to look at our future, and like we're all kind of looking back, and there's I don't know, I feel like maybe this sounds really pretentious, but I mean it sincerely. I think I feel like a moral imperative to like try to not do that. Although I think there's definitely things that aren't like, you know, this thing isn't like the most new original thing that ever existed, but like,
Yeah, this film makes a point to not teach any moral platitudes.
yeah, that too. I mean, and this is maybe this also sounds ridiculous, but I think like, you know, most storytelling in our day and age is you know, moral instruction, and it goes back to Judeo-Christian things, and I think it's inherently patriarchal. And I think what's really cool is the idea that like, I don't know, to talk about politics and stuff, I think we have Instagram, we have social media, we have really great platforms. But what's amazing about film is that it doesn't have to instruct anyone on anything. It can be an experience in which people can observe things and digest things on their own time, and like, you know, actually can persuade people in ways that, you know, aren't condescending or you know, I get patronizing,
Self-important.
patronizing. Yeah, and I don't know. So what's exciting to me about film is that, you know, we can make things that if people are willing to watch, then, you know, give them a chance to process things and, you know, come away with different feelings and, you know, experience things in different ways and manners. That's my spiel. I'm done with that. But
It's
yeah,
cool. It's cool to see a film that makes an effort to walk away from any sort of mold. 'Cause
thank you.
just from what I've seen, like stories usually come in three separate types. Where, at least this is what I've seen, is there are stories that are centered around plots, there are stories that are centered around characters, and stories that are centered around themes, or AKA lessons. But this is
Yeah,
a really cool film to me because it's kind of it's not it doesn't really fit into any three. It's more just trying to impress upon you an aesthetic or a feeling, and I think that's
yeah.
cool.
I mean, like I'm definitely not the first person to do that. Like I adore like Lynn Ramsey and you know, Claire Denis, and I feel like those are filmmakers that really achieve like aim for that above all else. So like I really owe it to them. But like I don't mean to say like I did it nearly as good as they do, because I don't think that's the case at all. But um yeah, I mean that's the aim, and I appreciate that you take that away from it, because that, I don't know, it's validating, and I can get all the validation I can get, you know. Thank you.
Any other thoughts, or shall we wrap things up?
So I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, Eric, thanks so much for joining us. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you.
we'll post this video as well for people who weren't able to make it, so that they can
Cool, cool.
check everything out.
Awesome.
And maybe we'll see another project from you for the 2022 Klamath Independent Film
I
Festival.
aim to. I hope you like it. Thank you so much. I mean, it really means a lot that, you know, you care about this enough to do this. So thank you.
Yeah, no, this was fun. Heidi, and anything that you wanted to ask? Or no? Okay, well then, and thank you also for joining us. Appreciate it. We have some
Yeah,
off-camera folks who also watched with us. So,
cool. Well,
Eric,
thank you to anyone off camera. Yeah.
have a fantastic weekend, and we look forward to seeing whatever your next project may be.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.